We are 1 minute and less than 30 seconds away from the first Alpha Strike stream, which is focusing, well, on range combat, but also will showcase some uncut gameplay they are playing out live, and then they will talk about range combat also, which was really interesting because a few months ago I made a video here on the channel where I said we have to address the elephant in the room, which is range combat in Total War games and in Warhammer 1, 2, and 3. And funny enough, quite a bit of people were very quick in the comments to be like, there's no elephant, it's perfect! And I was like, no, it isn't. It isn't. It is okay. It does what it is supposed to do in a game like, well, everything where range combat isn't like one of the main aspects of the game, but especially in Warhammer 40k, it is the main aspect. We have a new engine. They can finally fix some really of the weird shit having gone on with range combat in a while, and so I'm really interested to see what they have to say about it. And also they did choose this as the first topic, so it is important to them. Also, if you haven't done so, you see the sign up for the closed beta at play.totalwar.com/sign up. Do it if you haven't done so yet. Let's go. This is a live stream. Hi, Petro, Dave, and Josh.
And welcome to
It's quiet.
Total War, Warhammer 40,000 Alpha Strike livestream ranged combat. I wrote it down this time so I wouldn't forget it. I am Joshua Williams, Head of Community Engagement. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by two fantastic guests. And what we're going to be doing today is showing off a live battle, maybe a couple of times as we talk through some stuff.
Yeah.
We've got a few clips to show some things that may.
I'm glad that they also do that. So there will be gameplay most of the time.
The 41st millennium.
And then they're talking over it.
So,
they're right.
I'm not.
They
Oh,
weren't yesterday, but they are today.
there we go.
Dave,
I'm not a big fan of those live streams where they're just talking and talking and talking and talking, and they never show gameplay. And it's like,
basically, I look after the what and the when of the features that we're going to make in battles across Total War.
yeah, they're a bit quiet. This is the loudest.
Focus on doing. Total
I hope
Warhammer 40,000
somebody sees that and will crank it up.
Comes through in the shape we would like it to for everyone.
we like making the titles longer and longer. every time.
Yeah. It's getting a challenge.
Let me see if I can.
And Pedro, yourself.
Yeah, I'm Pedro Engana. I'm the battle technical lead for the
Oh,
whole
that's
team
good.
that's been working on these next generation Total War titles. So it's really exciting to be here finally, be able to start getting into the
Yeah, let's
depths
see
of
if
some of
that
the
helps
stuff
a
that me
bit.
and my team have been doing for all these years. Get us to show some of the cool stuff, some of the cool tech that we've been building, and some of the new features you might be seeing in this game.
Fantastic. We're very excited for this stream. It's been a long time coming.
Yep.
So, how
Us.
old is the build that we're going to be showing off?
Games come
So
soon.
it's a couple of months old.
Next month.
Yeah, this is the same build that we used for the SGF demo. And actually, a really cool thing about this build is that when we captured all of that footage, it is just the game, right? And we thought, well, let's just play the battle from that demo.
So that's from the
What
Summer
we wanna do,
Games
make sure
Fest
when we deliver that sort of thing,
slash Billy Billy
we are just
World.
building the game, right? And we are showing
They've
the
shown
game, right? Because it's a no BS approach. So we want to just show you what's there.
Fantastic. So, what is in development at the moment? From what they'll see.
Pretty much everything is still in development. This is definitely
They're trying to cover
it's not smoke and
the
mirrors.
corners
It's
here
not that
with,
fast up. It's
hey,
just
don't look
what
too
the game
much
is looking
into
like
it.
right now, with a few months of delay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm hearing, could we maybe have all of our volumes slightly up? Mr. Audio Man. So we have, you'll see that we've got, when we get into the battle, which will just be 30 seconds away, we will have a little thing in the bottom left-hand corner, a QR code and a link if you want to sign up for the closed beta. So if you're interested in what you see and you want to give your feedback, that will be the opportunity to do so.
I assume we will get this
playing.
closed
It will be
beta
played live with
announcement
someone over at the,
after
at the
Gamescom.
PCs. Will has played this battle 100 times, and we've asked him to play.
No pressure.
Well, we've asked him to play to demonstrate things rather than to crush the enemy,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
So
absolutely, yeah.
he's going to be playing in a style which will hopefully make some things happen that we can talk about and demonstrate some mechanics, rather than to try and absolutely optimize, annihilate the enemy.
What? Wait, this is not my Total
We may,
War.
and we'll see if
it's
it
a tough
works.
We are not
We're gonna be
optimizing
responsible
stuff?
for I'm losing today, probably.
What
And
am
Will
I
was the
supposed to do
only
here?
person who who volunteered.
Can't
for this.
work with that.
So everyone thanks to Will for jumping in. All right, are you ready for us to go over to the battle display, Will?
There we go.
We have here our first live look.
Okay, this is the line.
At the game.
We're
So
getting an interface.
This is a build that
So
they've
this
seen
is where they
battle before.
can.
It's maybe the last time they see the battle. But they've seen this battle before. They've seen this map before. But never the full thing with.
Yeah, never the interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop the bottom.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of your very familiar stuff here. Obviously, deployment.
Deployment phase, yes.
Deployment is part of Total War.
Yeah.
But again, in terms of the style of the map and the kind of map that it is, it's not miles away.
Doesn't matter that we are not one-on-one live.
In previous Total War titles, we do have a big.
We are like 5
different
seconds
kinds of
behind.
maps, of course, so we're going to have more dense maps. We're going to have more sparse maps. This one sits on the sort of more sparse side of things, but it's not the completely flat. I want to say
This was
tournament
great.
style map, necessarily. But it's got some interest.
Also, it runs well.
It's a good middle ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Presents a few different things.
Exactly.
Presents some denser
It's
areas,
60.
some open areas. So it's a pretty good show map.
We should
The
check
pop-up is the pop-in is crazy though.
that is beautiful. It's
And look
grimdark.
at that cannon.
Yeah.
The pop-in is crazy.
But it's lovely. Take it in, isn't it lovely?
People
Look,
Hope they're getting that in order.
Is going into making sure that we capture
Even though
the
I will be
feeling,
honest,
yes,
if we are
Grimdark
getting
scale,
good
yeah.
performance and the pop-in is one of the issues with that,
Pulling off something
I'm
that's on the
fine.
Very accurately of where's the close beta sign up. That's on the clips that we'll show later. But you're welcome to Google.
Performance
it.
was always a weird beast in the Total War games. I'm so
we'll talk
glad
just
that
a
we
couple
are
of things
now
here before
on
we
a
actually
new
jump into the
engine.
battle, because some of this UI is brand new, right? So
Yeah.
we want to make sure people understand exactly what they're seeing there. So
24 out of 40.
Yeah,
let's go for it.
Will, do you want to
Jump in.
click there? There you go.
Ta-da. So
Ooh.
massive disclaimer again. Like the actual that panel itself. As of very recently, completely changed. It is still a panel, but we have strategic reserves. So a big part of this game is
Yeah, it's a
basically,
panel,
teeing up
folks.
the forces that you're going
It's
to bring
okay.
into the battle from your campaign, and having them come in their various different ways. So you may have some opportunity to sort of shuffle some units around during deployment. Like, what do you want to have your starting army as? But then there will be more restrictions as well. Let's say you're playing Space Marines and you have a fleet in orbit. You'll have some people racked up on that fleet that you won't necessarily be able to start the battle with, but you can join the battle with them throughout.
That makes it so much more dynamic and really interesting, because it makes it also harder for you to kind of assess the
I was
situation.
gonna say, like, you'll have to consider at deployment whether you want to bring your full force in, or if you want to keep some stuff in reserves so that they can fly in on Thunderhawks later to surprise the enemy.
But we're playing the guard.
We are.
And the Astra
We're not doing
Militarum, they do have Valkyries.
They hoof it.
Yep.
Yeah, but we tend not to send them down via drop pod because they are human, they are squishy,
Yep.
and they wouldn't survive that kind of impact. So the guard's playstyle is much more about bringing.
I mean,
reserves
have we
off the field,
tried
sort of meet the enemy
that?
and hold the line effectively?
Yep.
It's a
Which
bit more
hopefully
like classical.
Probably
Total War
somebody in the Warhammer 40k world already tried that at the
more
beginning.
control over who and when and where,
Yep.
basically.
So did it
Then
work?
There's two other things
Nope,
we'll touch on.
all
before
dead.
Are we
get
gassed
to
up?
Actually, do you know what? People seem pretty interested in what we're saying rather than
Try again
having a go at
later.
me for not telling Will to press start battle. So there's two rows of icons above the mini map there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, they're different things for starters.
They are.
So we have the bombardments that you're going to bring into the battle, and again, all work in progress UI. But the explosive, powerful ordnance that you have from off field, or again from your fleet, that again, due to your
I wonder how
campaign
close
situation, you
they
will
are
need
to
up
spells.
battle. So let's
I do
say,
see
well,
them
in
as
this case, actually,
spells
we have
right
our
now.
Deathstrike Godspear warhead, which is that is
Damn.
coming from off field, right? That is an
Yes.
artillery piece sat off field, ready to get involved. We've done it in our campaign, but if we do have a fleet in orbit as well. We have our
Cooldown
Strike,
300 seconds.
Some Valkyries at the ready.
Yep, ready to drop
And you
into
see the
as well.
amount you can
we've
use
got
it.
A bunch of different bombardments that we can drop in.
Okay.
And then we have our army abilities, or in this case,
The orders.
yeah,
Regimental orders. So the Astra Militarum has this mechanic where you can enact
Hey, there
orders
is
that will
suppression
spread units
fire.
within range of Voxcaster. So their playstyle is making sure that you have all of your units close enough to a command unit that can then issue these orders, which will give them different buffs that you will use to manage.
By the
your
way, they
situation
say
with
that this
fast
stream will
approach.
take an
Very
hour.
inspired by their tabletop mechanics.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, and again, just how the guards should
Just
operate.
not
Again,
gonna
everyone in
happen.
The law, like, you know, they are waiting for their orders. They are the human wall.
We're still in the deployment phase, and we are
part of
already
that play
50
style
minutes
guard
in.
that we'll hopefully
Not
see
gonna
if,
happen.
Will's does, does the best he
I'm
can. Is presenting that strong front and meeting the enemy in the open and then crashing
Which
against
I'm
them and reinforcing. So,
Totally
yeah,
fine with, just to make that absolutely clear here.
Well then, we got a lot else to talk about, but I think we can start the battle and start touching on some of it as Will battles the orcs.
Let's go.
Okay, go on then. So one thing to point out is the Cassicans were not in the deployment zone,
No.
so they had forward deployment.
Yeah,
Vanguard
forward
Yes.
scouts. Yeah,
Saw
classically,
that.
Vanguard deployment, but yeah, we're forward scouts. Yeah, so they are able to deploy from the front, obviously with some limitation, and scout out the battlefield for you and have better vision.
Okay, I like the
Visibility,
lines.
visibility, now being a big deal for the
It's a
war.
big deal, yes.
Yep. So you can.
I like that they are
see
also
and
popping
visualize
up
now,
all the
where
time, and you
Fog of
can
War.
kind of see where your
not sure
army
exactly
is
in this
moving
build,
to.
but
I love the cover
visuals
system.
that are not
Very
erased,
Company
but
of Heroes-esque.
This is why we cannot see the orcs at the moment.
Right.
But Fog of War has a pretty big impact in this game, especially because we're playing in sometimes very dense maps, buildings, other
That's
obstructions
definitely
will
the
block
first
different things.
time they are
Probably
utilizing this.
to
Like, don't get me wrong, Fog of War, of course, existed before
I'm
that.
approaching right now.
Yeah, it's a very eager battle wagon who's
Very brave.
currently
Yeah,
being
that's
very
not
brave and being a
good
little
for the
bit
bag.
suicidal to
Yeah, the
drive.
wagon
I mean,
is
yeah,
dead.
let's see what he's going up against.
No, that's what he's met a Baneblade. At this point, he's probably made the decision that it's worth just going in and going ham. And he's gone. So
Nope.
he's done the best he
Yeah,
can.
that was not.
He smashed over some cover,
yes.
which is probably worth talking about a little
When
bit.
you have
Will moved some people in
3 Lehman Russ,
Yeah.
and a
you can see that they'll
Baneblade,
filter into,
I don't know if you
positions,
want to go
basically.
in there
So really
with
trying to
one
keep it
tank.
Close to the standard control as possible. So this is just part of the drag out when you're
I love
dragging
the
out,
destruction.
unit
I love how it
so
just
they will
moves
populate
through cover.
positions, within that-
Oh,
no.
That's what you do if you don't want the opponent to get cover.
It's all good. A bombardment's coming in, so this is all going to get a little bit messy. Yeah, that Baneblade's trying to contribute though. Yeah, which is going to be a rough time for our
This is
poor
a rough
guardsmen.
day.
So what this gives us a nice opportunity to
Join the
talk about
guard,
is
they
destruction
said.
and how
Will
that
be
works.
fun, they
So
said.
we have cover
No,
zones,
actually, nobody
they
ever
are
says
created
that.
within the map, and it's a combination of the simulation of the actual projectiles being fired and hitting those cover pieces. Those can be destroyed, but within those cover zones as well, we are doing a few things to sort of keep
Man,
it,
just
keep it separate.
seeing
So we have a concept of evasion, and as long as
the
you're within cover
bullets
zone, you'll get your slightly harder
and
to go
just
through the
seeing
enemy
like the
missing.
projectiles looks
And
already
what gets destroyed is leaving
so
behind a little bit of the
so
drive force.
freaking good.
So basically, there's always a little bit of effect there. What we didn't really want is for players to have to sort of constantly think about, oh, is there cover there? Isn't there cover there?
Yeah.
Did it move? Did it get fully destroyed? So there is an impact. There is a simulated impact. It will become slightly less effective, but it still holds on to some of its teeth.
Yeah.
Okay,
which
that's
is,
cool.
We're finding to play really nicely.
Yeah.
We
but
will
this
see
is
how that
coming
plays out.
into closed beta, right?
And so far it's running
Really action
smooth
focused
60.
with everyone that is going to spend, I hope, a great deal of time like we are playing this game and enjoying it, and figuring out where to take it and how to
Storm
dive
boy.
into the guts of it.
Yeah.
It's gone really well.
I love that they are keeping a little bit of the comedy of the orcs here.
Maybe some reinforcements at the
Here
back
comes
for a
the
second
kitchen
wave.
sink.
Yeah, maybe get the Baneblade involved, but no, the cover zones. Most of the areas in this map that you see that have tons of cover pieces have sandbags.
This doesn't look good for the
These are
Imperial.
the proper cover zones that'll give you.
It's
both
something weird though,
and
going with the
and
camera
buff.
on.
I
Can't put my finger on it.
Staying behind positions of cover.
Maybe
can
some
also
camera
exist in some other contexts. For
smoothness
example,
is
if you're doing a
active.
Very, very large bombardment. It'll make a crater. This crater will allow you to dock some units to it.
So it looks a little bit weird sometimes. Maybe because the person is like turning the camera a lot and zooming in, zooming out to make it a little bit more cinematic for us.
Some advantage, but not quite the same advantage as these areas of the map that are specific for it.
So you get some benefit out of it, and there is some really fun sort of like emerging out of, you know,
Yeah,
are we about to drop the
bro, are you really?
Okay, all right, all silence for the bomb. Here comes the death strike. So this is
Boom.
I love this. So yeah, you can
It's
see
a big boom.
It's left behind like that crater there. Obviously, that's a massive one. You'll probably get more effect out of the smaller ones that pepper things, and you have different bombardments with different sorts of cadence of explosion.
Yeah, this is not good.
Sizes of crater and stuff.
It's definitely
super fun.
Awesome.
How's it? It's
How's the
yeah,
other flanks
we
going?
need the second front. We need the second front.
This is
I
bad.
think it's worth talking about projectiles.
The Orc came in with
Yeah,
all
one thing-
his
oh, well, if you
units.
look back at that tank, one thing that tank's doing, it's trying to do.
Oh, it's trying to get out
It's-
of range.
it's-
It's firing.
Look at that.
It's still flaming them, and you can see some las cannons going off.
I think that's a
there.
melter going off, but yeah,
Oh, there you go,
he's
Driving backwards while
strafing.
firing.
So, yeah, we have
Man.
introduced strafing. It's
They definitely looked a little bit at Company of Heroes when Relic was still part of Sega,
You can just move in that direction.
and probably took
Not
some
limited to,
guidance.
We want everyone to have this potential to strafe, but with different proficiency.
Yeah, this doesn't look good.
Infantry can strafe. Everyone can
Light
strafe,
flanking.
but we want to,
I wonder
we
what
wanna make
that
sure
is.
The different sort of asymmetry and skills of the units are represented. So
Yeah.
guardsmen, etc., they'll be able to move backwards slowly whilst firing. Orcs can do it if you're that organised and really want to be backing away. It's not the play style you want to go for with orcs necessarily.
Yeah, what?
But, when it
Orcs
really shines,
going
that's where you get
backwards?
the Space Marine tool.
I've never heard of
So
that.
powerful, and super accurate.
Don't
and,
lose any accuracy by
yeah,
doing it.
exactly right. So they're
That sounds weird, but yeah, this doesn't look good. I'm missing some like
and really reinforce your
heavy artillery or firepower on the side of the.
big part of what makes Total War so crunchy and fun is the positional game.
Ooh.
Oh no! Little craters. And
that,
lots of
Nice.
That's always been our objective. So we're building a game in the 41st millennium when we want to bring all the good Warhammer goodness, but we still want this to feel like a proper Total War game.
Yeah.
So Total War is a lot of.
This is definitely also a relatively new thing, what we just saw here. Sorry that I'm talking so much about the developers. If you want to see this without my stupid talking, the videos out there, right? But look at this. He's falling back to different positions. If you are looking especially at Total Warhammer,
really important to take down your opponent and make sure you are enfilading, getting around them, encircling them, and bringing them down.
it's, yeah, you do have sometimes moments where you move back on the camera,
Send in more men.
but most of the time you clash, you have your fights somewhere,
Right, okay,
you draw
yeah,
a
so
little
this
bit
will be
back
your-
here and
your
there,
surrounding armies,
but never like
and,
this.
and people that
Never
are
like
your
this.
multiple people.
And the Ogrins are just
Those
destroying
ones,
all the
so
cover
basically
right now. I
surrounding
don't
armies
know
can
how
get
good
involved
that
in the
is.
Obviously, yeah, there is a total limit of armies that will be able to get involved in a conflict.
Makes sense.
But yeah, you can bring in in some cases up to 40 onto the battlefield, and you'll be able to get involved. Might be quite difficult
40.
to get up to 40 Space Marine units in one place.
Yeah.
Right, but that is
very
definitely not hard to do with guard.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
yeah,
So we have doubled now the amount of
that might be worth noticing is at the top the balance of power bar. You might notice
units on the battlefield.
and another section that
Good.
basically indicates how many units are in the field and how many units are still to come in. So you
Okay.
can see that still have a little bit of units to come in from the Esther Mill, and the development in progress is kind of hiding the orc bar, but I believe they have deployed everything at this point, so no more surprises from the orcs.
yeah, we've got a little bit more in the cannon, although they do have.
That's good.
Honestly, that
They've got a
taken a
stomper.
beating as well.
Yeah. And he's
oh, the big
a
jumper,
scary guy.
Maybe
He's
we'll
a
make
scary,
it.
the
scary
big
guy.
jumper. Look at that thing.
We really
This
wanted
is
to
so
put the biggest thing,
ridiculous.
that we could get away with in a Total War game. We're looking at putting bigger things in later down the line, of course. But yeah, this will be the biggest thing we've had in a Total War. So yeah, I'm very.
Yeah,
excited about
that definitely looks pretty
With
big.
that low health Baneblade roll, that's going to have to shoot that
Don't let
stomper.
him die.
I'm still
Yeah,
weirded
yeah,
out by the small Baneblade, by the more
So you can see
compact
here,
one.
it's-
I don't know. I always have the
right, it's a
Baneblade
wave
as a
of
relatively
guards.
big
So
tank
the
in
first
my
couple of
head,
blasts, a huge number of balls.
like larger.
That have just managed to smash through.
Yeah.
So now it's up to that second wave who.
But I think
looking,
those
guess, at
are the
corpses of
old,
all the ones
the
that failed
old
before them,
models.
Yeah.
having their own go at holding the line.
Man,
Yeah,
he
thankfully there's also
actually
some cover positions
crushed
at the back of the map, so now this is where we're trying to make our last stand.
Yeah.
And we're going to hit the panic
the
button.
orcs.
Yeah, this
gonna
is
hit
the
the panic
ripcord. So, calling from the fleet, we're going to have our lance strike.
Oh,
This is,
you can
a
control
highly
it.
powerful, very AP-centric weapon. You're not going to be able to use this sort of thing often.
Yeah.
It is a really a wow. Okay, he's
Oh,
still
almost,
up.
almost.
He's still up. We got a problem.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, the
there we
Baneblade
go.
should
He's
like
probably on his way out. He's
finish
starting
it.
to pop.
Ah, there he
we
goes.
go.
Nice.
nice
Oh, you're
victory.
Boom.
That was awesome.
But you
Good
see
job.
that die, you're probably going to run up.
Now,
But yeah, we can
have to
It
shoot
didn't
down
look
the
good for the
So
guardsmen at the
it's only-
beginning.
we can talk a little bit about the land strike. our abilities
And I have
now
to
this
admit,
like this chance that you can.
I
you
missed
can
when he
decide to
turned it
continue
around.
Controlling the ability.
Like,
You
he
can
was falling
hold the
back,
button and keep
and that
guiding
falling
the land
back
strike and
kinda
pointing over the enemy if you wish. But then this
did it
obviously
for
locks
him.
you down to using the land strike and not allows you not order other units to do other things.
Yep.
But if you want to micromanage, if you want to
But that you can control it is
a very
crazy.
specific set of units. You can hold it and control it yourself.
I
and
wonder if you can
catch,
use this
for
as
example,
cover.
The enemy's trying to run away from your.
That would be awesome, right? If you could like kind of use the bodies and the destructive stuff like
That's an awesome wreck to have to run past as well.
as cover.
There's a really
When
fun
wow,
moment,
look
as
at
with
this
Bella, there's a really
battlefield.
fun moment where
It's a bit
we decide to
unfortunate
keep
that
it
they are
on
only
how it
streaming in
works.
1080p.
You can push it in a direction. And
That
then
still
let it
looks
go, and it continues
freaking
to happen.
amazing,
Actually,
man.
like making it into this sort of like horrific Beyblade,
Yep.
kind of feels right. So yeah, there's
Like still with
few
all the
different
bodies
abilities
lying
that
around,
you
it's still
can
running
use,
so
like
smooth.
a macro cannon, it's sort of like
I would love to know
shots over time, etc.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's all about managing
what
it.
like the system is they're running this on right now.
You want to spend your time, doing other things and let it go. So yeah, look at that beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Chasing them down. So we will. It's really annoying that I've just noticed my foot is.
I'm still so
slightly
glad
off the
that they are
barrel.
running now a new engine.
Oh, that's going to bug me for the next 20 minutes. All right, so what we'll do is we'll reset this battle.
Yes.
Because we want to talk a bit about unit cards, and then
Yes.
loads of people have been asking about like firing lines, projectiles. We'll go into a deep dive on that next.
Awesome.
But before we do that, there's one thing
I
that we
love that
only
kind
show
of
at
stuff.
the end of the battle, and that is don't press it yet. Don't you dare. And that is the visuals of a unit, right? After they've been attacked and damaged. So if you
Yeah.
can find some damaged people, Will.
Yeah. Hopefully, I would expect.
I'm offering
hard to
assistance
find,
right
damaged
here.
guardsmen,
Yeah.
because
I
the
mean,
damaged ones tend to end
I would
up
definitely call me a damaged
and that is a
person.
thing. But yeah, basically, what we want to
Not what they necessarily look for,
is get sort of
but
a cumulative effect of what's happened to things across the battle.
you know.
Yeah.
So
The
have you been
Bane Blade
burned?
might look a bit
Yeah,
bad.
Yeah,
the
the
Bane
Bane
Blade
Blade
looks a little bit burnt. Yeah, so have you been burnt? Have you been shot?
Yeah,
have
there
you
you
been
go.
punched? Have you been
Cool,
cut?
man.
To the amount of stuff that we can do, and it's not like mapped one to one with bullet holes, etc.
Yeah.
But what it's doing is it's telling.
I
a
love the
story about
details also on this.
like,
Look
like
at
individuals. So by the
this.
end of a combat with again like Space Marines, you can end up with some really cool sort of rugged, battered individuals that look like they've been through a hell of a ringer and tell the story of what's happened to them throughout the battle.
Yeah.
And it depends on the type of damage that they take. So the
Yeah.
Bane Blade, you can see that has a bunch of bullet holes. It means it got shot a lot. Is it a bit burned? It went against some flamethrower units. That's kind of the story it tells.
Yeah.
Yesterday when we did a little run through, there was a commissar, right? It was burned, bleeding, shot, and it was.
I can't believe he was still
astounded
alive.
it survived.
He'd done a good job. Yeah, he stayed standing, a proud commissar.
Brilliant. Well, I'll put us back to our camera just while you reset them, Will, and we can talk.
Aww,
about
show me the end screen.
because the challenge here really is, and as we'll show and talk about it, that units they're not just all one thing anymore. So that commissar wasn't just a commissar on their own, right?
Oh,
They were part of the
interesting.
squad. So really, there was a challenge there with unit cards of how are you going to represent multiple different profiles, and then you guys kind of went insane and took that further of what if even within the same profile they had different weapons, right? So
Yeah,
we'll
I
get
saw
rid of it and
that.
start talking about that. But
Yeah.
was there a moment where that challenge felt like too much?
I think when
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
When we start this is a huge.
No, absolutely not. It was a walk in the
We're very lucky to be
park.
a part of it. But I think there's a moment when you look at what all the units are made up of, and the just the total complexity of them.
Yeah.
And we thought, do we, should we try and represent that? And
Yeah.
and the answer came back.
Quick note here, I want to throw
You
in
have to. Like a
yeah.
regiment of this many troops.
is
everyone with exactly the same gear, exactly the same weapon.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's important, like your decision.
they really are happy with, like, when they're talking about the new possibilities here they now have with the new engine. It is such a difference to listen to those guys talking about all the cool stuff they can now do with the new engine. And then you are going back to the folks at Warhammer 3 who are working at End Times. It's like, we're really trying the best here, man. That engine is killing us. And it's like, yeah. They really, really like, it's a challenge, but they don't have to appease the engine gods every day to get that thing running. It's great.
Because this is the expanded view, right? So if you,
I think I know why this looks a little bit weird.
that one.
They're using sharpening.
with that gone, that's kind of the basic view, right?
It's there.
There you go.
It's
That's
there.
This is
your
the
little-
basic
Okay.
view that tells
Yes.
you the core information you need to know about the unit.
Yes, and that's
Performance
even
was
depending on
live,
the tab
performance
you
was...
click,
Oh,
will be the
that's
basic version of that tab.
cool.
So if you press expand again, Will, this is then when you're starting to get the more advanced stats.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Charge defense.
first thing to say
1.
is, all those stats are there.
Already.
All those stats are there.
Kazakin.
And if anything,
Sergeant,
we've
Kazakin
got,
specialist.
We've got more,
Okay.
we've got more
Yes.
probably stats controlling
Than we've ever had.
than we've ever had. Just
All
to
the
be
different
able to manage
weapons.
all of the complexity
Yes.
of all these different
And
weapons.
obviously, one of the main
yeah.
complexities introduced is
Evasion
units
is quite
that are
high.
just made of a single thing.
Yes.
So you can see that these Kazakins are made out of 4 different groups of entities within the
Oh,
unit
and
that
they
all
have
their
different
stats, you know, they're different
stats.
gear, and they will serve slightly different purposes when
Whoa.
they engage in a battle.
Yeah. So this is actually probably one of the most complicated units that we have in terms of its function.
Hotshot
Because a lot of the
Lasgun.
units have
Oh, you can also see
like
how
the
good it
core
performs, how
parameters,
often you can see it.
And then we can add special.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
Sort of tune them. I'd say about like 20% towards a different direction.
I
Like,
wonder
maybe
if you can
APB
actually
allows the
control
units to be better at
this.
sort of like, you know, damaging light units, etc. We'll talk about that.
Like, you can put the units
but
together with
there's
different
usually like a
weapons,
core
with
function to the
different
unit.
troops.
This one is quite split, right? Like it's got a kind of an interesting mix of the lasgun and the plasma, which really tee it up to be.
That's
you know,
cool.
good
That's a
against
frag
heavy things, good
grenade.
against medium things, and slightly different.
Crack or frag?
Which is really cool. But I guess it's worth talking about
Bayonet.
those,
Very
those
important.
classes for a moment. If we just nip back to the oh, it's at the top there. Sorry, yeah. So
Hot
just
shot.
looking at the categories, so light, medium, and heavy. Figuring out like how everything needed to sort of fit together in this game.
They have tried to do this in the last few Total War games with light, medium, heavy, and all that, especially with Pharaoh. They kind of tried to do that, which, fighting and gameplay-wise, I really enjoyed Pharaoh for what they tried to do there.
Or a couple of things.
Funny enough,
super tanky. There are
I think
some things
Pharaoh,
that break
especially
down,
the new
but this one
2.0,
is not to sort of
bit
try and
underrated,
explain
but
everything in super
they did
detail. It's
that
sort of
to
80%
themselves,
fit of
let's
like,
be
you know,
honest.
80 to 90% fit. You know, these are the sorts of things that you'll be good at damaging, basically, and everyone fits within these categories. The wonderful thing is that that's just what they are. So you know, putting all that together has been super fun.
I
And
wonder...
the simplest top level way to explain it, without needing to get into that extra 20% depth, which does matter, is that you what are you tuned towards damaging, and how much have you got within your unit that can do that. So looking at this Kazakin, for example, they are really mixed. You can see that they're quite specialized, but they're very good at taking out medium stuff. So you know, they're actually really good at cracking down Space Marines. That's the sort of unit you want to be going, I get that guy in Tactics armor. I want to shoot that guy with this one because that will be a prime target for them. But they've actually got some really strong potential to deal with light units, so chaffy stuff, and they've got some pretty decent potential to deal with the heavier stuff. And it all depends on
I mean, that's
not just the weapons that they
Kazakin.
have, but the
I
positioning.
mean, that's the elite troop,
there
right?
as well, because these weapons don't just live isolated on the individuals. They're cycling them, right? They're actually switching between weapons. Under the context that they're firing things.
An individual soldier might have more than just one weapon. They might have multiple, and they will
They are
switch to
switching
the
the-
right thing at the right time to damage what they need to damage.
We'll show some of that later because it is, I think, one of the coolest pieces of tech that this engine's unlocked of multiple weapons.
Yeah,
on
what the
there.
hell, bro?
And we've got some great, like, throwing grenades is such a cool use of that.
That's
Will,
insane.
go on just the defensive stats one more time.
What?
Pick a character unit, maybe the Commissar. And maybe see if you can find the Commissar as well while we read through them. But I've given him such a challenge there. So, so we've got a few different things here. Evasion is versus shooting.
Yes.
Your chance to dodge a bullet.
Yes, yeah. So
Oh, wow,
so you have
okay.
your melee stats as well.
65%.
Again, all the stats are there. Fear not.
Yes.
So evasion
You can see
basically.
the evasion.
Or if it
very
is
heavily buffed
percent.
with cover.
And that's what I was going to ask.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Oh, because he's in
basically you're more
cover.
likely to miss this guy when they're
Yeah,
firing.
just gonna say, wow, that's a high evasion for a normal human.
But not actually collide with him. They'll probably go high or low or to the side.
Okay.
Which is an interesting moment. Should we talk about projectiles?
Yes.
That is next on the list.
Let's
Go for it.
let's try and finish the
was about
stats so
projectiles.
Josh doesn't
Yeah.
If you want to just start playing again, we'll go for it. We'll talk about projectiles while you do.
Yeah.
So, have we made
Yes.
any changes to the way projectiles work? Or?
A couple changes. So
All of
this
it,
is
please.
arguably a really ranged combat-focused game. Almost every single unit, not every single, but almost every single unit shoots something at some point. And some of the units even shoot stuff at ridiculous amounts of speeds and in ridiculous amounts.
Yes.
So to be able to
the Kazakhstan troops.
keep true to ourselves, keep true to what really makes Total War shine, which is the fact that we try to simulate as much as we can. We did have to do some upgrades to our engine to be able to manage the sheer amount of projectiles that might be coming out of some weapons. So we've done some technical improvements to be able to go below our usual physics tick rate, to have sub-steps specifically to be able to spawn the sheer amount of projectiles that this game needs.
Okay.
And at any given point, when you have two full armies shooting at each other, you might have hundreds, maybe thousands of projectiles flying in the air. You can see these bolters firing. Every single little projectile you see is a simulated projectile. It's not smoke and mirrors.
Crazy.
It has a parabola. It will travel.
It'll hit cover or a wall or a building.
Or a someone.
So every one of those projectiles is real.
Yes.
I want to remind people again when they laughed about me, like, it's fine. They can just take the bullet and other, like, range mechanics from Total Warhammer 3. It's completely fine.
It's all there. It's all happening. We try and simulate as much.
No, it's not.
I love these Storm Boys. There's so much fun.
And apparently the
Tech is
developers
so
agreed with me.
You know, like it goes wrong, but sometimes in the way they want, right?
Exactly.
And off they go.
Holy moly.
When they have some
Confetti.
tech missing and they fly off, those too are projectiles in a way.
Yeah, they can hit stuff. They can blow up. They can do damage to stuff. They can
Oh,
blow up,
that's
hit a building.
cool.
That can knock that building down if it's a destructible one. So yeah, you get some really cool moments coming out.
Wow, the tanks are now having... Yeah, he's now trying to get the tanks, which are on the bridge, because he realizes if he leaves the tanks alone up there, he's cooked. So the orc is actually doing
They
something.
wouldn't mind. They're having
They
fun.
wouldn't.
It's
I
kinda
think
cool.
The thing that really stuck with me, and I have a list of them here, is
And you should move.
it's not just a projectile is not just a thing that's shot at a certain rate of fire, right? There are a ton of things that you track to make sure that this feels authentic and accurate, right? I mean, I can list some of those things off, but
Yeah, it was a
I'm gonna
bad
put down
play
here,
by the orc.
Aim time delay, rate of fire, reload speed, mid-burst delay, burst size.
I wonder how
burst
strong those
magazine,
abilities...
they're continuously
Like, I
firing.
know you can only use it
What is
once,
unconstant? When
but
someone goes to shoot, what has everything...
that was
been
powerful.
simulated or
That was a
tracked?
lot of units just eradicated.
Like we
Well,
mentioned.
don't list all of it. Just
No, not all of it. not
Sorry,
all
I
of
didn't mean to just go give you 50 things.
No.
What's going on there?
No, we've done an overhaul to how ranged combat works, so this needed an overhaul to how the cycle of firing also functions and all the different stats that can control it. So when an individual guardsman gets an order to fire, he will go through a bunch of steps throughout its fire cycle. And we try to simulate this in a way that we can apply to all different types of weapons, all different types of contexts. So when someone gets an order to fire, they will start by target acquisition, and this will put them in
was
an
beautiful.
aim animation. They will pick a target, they will aim towards that target, and they will take some time to zero in. Once they're finished, they will go and start shooting, and they will pop off a shot.
I'm getting hyped up here.
Play to deal with the recoil.
I want this
get back
right
to zeroing in,
now.
Continue shooting, until they eventually run out of ammo in the magazine, and then they will have to do a reload. But compared to
how is that
previous,
working?
In the previous Little Wars, where rapid fire weapons would shoot repeatedly, and you always would have to shoot a certain amount until they can be interrupted and do something else. Here, each individual shot is part of this cycle and can be interrupted and can be continued later. So if a unit
That's
starts
cool.
firing and it has 5 shots left in the magazine, and they fire off 3, and you interrupt their order or give them a different order or tell them to move backwards.
Yeah,
they
it
will
seems
stop
like there's
firing
no
immediately. They will move out.
ammunition,
The next time they give them an
really.
order, they will fire the two left ones, and then they will have to reload. So all this state is kept.
So even on an
and simulated.
individual guardsman level, it's tracking how many... I don't know, it's not bullets in a laser. How many lasers are left?
How many lasers are there?
Exactly. Yes.
How much energy is left in the energy cell, yeah.
There's so many people saying, can you just show me a guardsman shooting, because they love the look of them. So if it won't lose you the battle, just to zoom in and to see some of them having the worst day of their life.
We can capture, hopefully, there we go, we've got a sergeant stood proud as well, the commissar sergeants, etc. They don't need to duck.
Oh my gosh, they're in so much
that is
trouble.
not a good place to be as a guardsman right now.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's really, really cool stuff.
So someone pointed out as well, these sort of operants walking backwards. So it's
Yes.
those things you said, it just hangs
That's
everything
amazing, but also the poor guardsmen. Oh,
You could see as these guardmen were repositioning, some of them.
By the way,
kept
I
their
love
weapon
the
up,
guard.
And they were still firing as they were moving.
poor sobs.
A
Oh
lot,
my
if
god,
not
look at
most of the
that.
units in this
Some
game
great dying
are able
animation.
To fire while moving. We've disconnected their legs from their torsos in a way. So if they are moving and they have a weapon and there's enemies in front of them, they will be able to shoot at them as they move and as they go into position and as they.
I wonder if there is like a fallback button,
hard
like
to translate
in
the
Company of
animation
Heroes
system
maybe
and
at some
upgrading
point.
the anim team.
I don't think they would do that. I don't think it would fit, but I wonder if there is. I'm not saying we need it, to make that clear.
It feels so much more dynamic when you watch.
I don't think that's necessary.
It's super cool. It just you can see all those different sort of actions blending together, and it
But
keeps
curious.
grounded and in the simulation.
Haven't seen it yet.
Animations blend incredibly well. They run, get into cover, duck, get up, fire, and all of this now is not.
Man,
one
as an
hand
orc
animation
player,
that is forced to run. It's can all be composed depending on the situation and the simulation.
hey,
which is
there's an orc
great
boss.
job.
Someone asked an
Oh, down he went.
Uh-oh.
Well,
someone
he
asked
just
a
fell
question
over.
more of, and I've seen it a few times of firing. As in firing lines. So someone said there was a guardsman at the back there who wasn't shooting, right?
Yeah. So again, on the positional gameplay side of things, providing frontage is like a really important part of successful range combat, right? Is that you want to have more guns pointing at a place, ideally a focused enemy, than they have.
I would do
And
so
getting
many
around
horrible
and
things with
flanking is
this.
all part of that, but also just how you stretch your own unit and how you can sort of space it out will matter. So you can occupy more frontage by dragging your unit out. It's total war. But one thing that we've done here is we put a load of work into the checks that each individual entity is making when they're firing. So the ones at the back are basically going, I can't shoot because my friend's in front of me. And we have a bunch of controls to manage, all data driven, how far they will be comfortable firing over each other's shoulders, etc. So the first couple of rows will be happy to fire. The back few are going to be hanging back and going,
It's
I can't fire
interesting.
yet, but obviously spreading them out, you're going to get more guns on target. So that works for your positional gameplay. If you are happy to move out of cover, so you've got trade-offs, of course. There's always a trade-off to how you're trying to put your units around the map. But yeah, what's really cool about it is that let's say a grenade lands in the front line of your unit and kills the ones that were firing. The ones at the back in that moment can then go, well, it's a shame that Jim's dead, but now I can shoot.
Hey, now I can shoot.
So it all just again comes together as part of
Yeah, I have the feeling of it that the orcs are getting.
I guess line of sight and line of
Maybe
sight
it's
every
just a
individual
point of
soldier
view,
within
right?
there.
This is PvE
And they're
versus.
not just
It's
looking.
mental.
They're not
Players.
just looking maybe at the thing that's been targeted, right? They're looking
Yeah.
around for something to shoot.
Yeah.
Indeed. So that's one of the big improvements. That it's small detail.
And I
but
don't
it's
really
something
want to
I
say much
really
about
like.
the AI
It's
yet.
also- If you have a unit in fire at will and they are firing at someone in front of them, the front lines will be able to shoot.
It
but the
looks
people in
so
the back
good
might not
after
be.
the
They
fight,
might
man.
be, blocked by their own,
Like, it already
their own
looked a
allies.
bit
But if there's another enemy unit to the side,
shabby
that one
at
of the
the
soldiers
beginning.
on the left flank can see, they will
But
shoot at
now-
will. So units
Awesome.
can, with fire at will, fire at multiple different enemy units at the same time,
looks so much
depending on
better.
how much they're blocked and depending on individual and soldier sidelines.
Yeah, it can end up being like really cool, especially if you're sort of like on a little like hump of the terrain where you're sort of straddling a little bit of.
Those are the new
terrain.
troops he called in,
That
right?
bottom half of the unit might then go, oh, hang on, I can't quite hit that thing on the left, but you might get almost half of your unit basically firing at something else valuable, which feels super good. But I mean, on that,
That's cool.
This has been a huge challenge, right? But trying to get units to fire cleanly, over little bumps and whatnot, and make sure those checks and the shots all come together. We put a lot of work into that, and again, when we get to the closed beta, I think we're really keen to hear feedback on the smoothness and the responsiveness and how this all.
It really
feels.
sounds like they're getting closer to it. I assume that we are getting a date after the Gamescom.
You'll see like a little line that basically appears broken or not, kind of showing you where the line of sight breaker is. So if you do right click, your unit is probably going to move. It's like, okay, well, I can't see it, it'll move. Or it's like, yep, you're all good to go. That should have the best part of the unit firing.
Yep.
It's quite finicky stuff. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's lots of little fine values to play with, but I think we've landed somewhere that feels really comfortable and smooth. It's a combination of all sorts of things, but to bring it together. But
The music is also really good.
To have people
So far in the background.
all
Oh
of
my
you gotta
god,
play
look
it
at the
and try it.
Doing all
destruction.
of those checks, they're also checking what's the right weapon to use here.
Yes.
Right? Which is,
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see the POV of the
Also like
orcs.
to talk a little bit about sentry mode since we're talking about these
Yes.
different range
Yes.
behaviors.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I think we may have to just. We probably won't finish a third battle, but we've still got suppression and flanking fire to talk about, and there's no one
yes.
left. So I'm going to put us back.
Could we just hover over sentry mode?
Yes, hover over sentry mode. Then while you're talking about that, we'll get Will to set back up, and we just need some suppression and some flanking fire, and then we'll move on to the next.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sentry mode, also relatively small feature, but I've seen some people in the forums asking if this was going to be a thing. It's a bit of a guard mode for ranged in a way.
Good.
It allows you to mark an enemy target. Basically, you're telling this unit, whenever you can shoot at that specific enemy, that's who you're shooting. And this allows you to keep your unit in cover. Let's say you have them very
That also helps you really to just
advancing on you, and you're like, I really want my
not to
cascade
check
to
targets
shoot
all the time.
knob. So you not anyone else. So you give him a sentry order on that enemy, and now you don't have to worry that they're going to move out of position with the ranged attack. They will stay in cover. As soon as they can shoot that, they will. And it also allows you to disconnect your ranged attack in a way from movement, so you can paint a target and then give a move order, and they will keep shooting at that target with fire while moving, prioritizing the.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super handy, super versatile. It really.
I know it's not to make this clear. Yes, I'm aware. This is not the first time a strategy game has been doing this. Look, I've been playing games for over 30 years now. I'm old. I've seen them.
The battle.
The thing is just
by the time we've finished talking about some of the things that you're going to show. So we did see it.
Having that option is important,
that battle, especially when things were being shot by small arms fire. Suppression.
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
How does it work?
So suppression, again, yes, like you said, small arms fire. It's basically a tool to slow down enemies' output, right? So it slows down the rate of fire of the opponent that you're firing at. And it can also
very much like Company of Heroes.
Slower. So basically, it's a way to punish you
That's good.
directly in the open, willy-nilly, just charging headlong without any other sort of strategy, and will basically be a limit.
It's kind of funny that they're not mentioning Company of Heroes anymore because
similar units as well.
The devs don't work for Sega anymore, and they're like.
Again, it's something that we're working on in terms of like the stats and how we really want it to work. So I'm really keen.
Suppression will be a big topic, I fear.
Talk about how it's working, and
I think this will be a big topic
ultimately it's there to
when the game is out.
Because again, we don't necessarily want, and this has been a challenge here. We don't want every combat to end super fast, right? What's fun about Total War is watching it and taking it in, but also it just needs to be something you can play at a pace and understand and take in whilst you're controlling all the stuff. So yeah, it's one way to sort of like slow things down and punish things that are going to approach you, directly in the open.
Absolutely.
But we still want things to be able to approach you. Not
There are
every
tools.
faction. Not every faction is based on
Yeah.
ranged combat, of course. Some are more tailored towards melee. Some are more tailored towards ranged.
Yeah, absolutely. So orcs might have a few tricks to avoid suppression or not worrying about suppression, for example, and certain units as well are more or less bothered about it. For example, your tanks, your vehicles, it's hard to suppress them generally, right? Like you can sort of blind them by firing a bunch of twinkling las guns at them. But yeah, ultimately there are different tools for the job, right? So maybe leading the charge with some sort of vehicle to sort of break through and then getting your stuff in, or just chucking in a load.
I would love to see a different approach.
Because hey, it's Gretchen and boys.
It's not the third time. I know he is using like a true or tried tactic here.
I'm trying to keep in my brain. So the one of the things.
But I would like to see
does that mean they'll
different approaches
the characters
to this fight.
with the bodyguard? Does that mean there'll never be any single entities on their own?
No. So we are obviously.
Oh.
So obviously, no one knows anything yet. We are going. That's not fair. We are going to have single entity units, yes, but most of your characters, unless they are like super powerful and super standout, are going to come with a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And this again is something that we're.
I mean, the Baneblade is technically
your specialization of these units
single. The tanks are single.
Be able to make adjustments to the
I think some of the demons, like if we ever get a Bloodthirster, right?
Are they not?
Or Great Unclean One. Well, the Great Unclean One could run around with some Nurglings.
It's not a game of throwing out your single hero and slogging away with your single hero, especially because when you look at a lot of the characters, especially for the ASM, the Astra Militarum, they are humans, right? So we don't want to have just a single commissar just punching his way through hordes. That isn't right.
Did you just say that Yarrick cannot destroy the Orc Hawks on themselves, mate?
Are we able to shoot the cover?
That's that not.
You can shoot the destructible buildings. Yeah, so the destructible the buildings.
Make sure that the Inquisition doesn't hear about this.
To either drop them on opponents, open up line of sight. So actually, this is a cool space here, right? Because you can make some decisions. You can decide to take these buildings out before the orcs arrive, and then you can you've got a clear firing line to shoot at them. You can wait to try and spring a trap and drop it on them if you'd like as well, and that will hopefully be quite effective if this comes in. Way, there we go. And that will probably hurt quite a bit as well. So there are different ways to use these tools.
I wonder if you can
But as
go
you might
into
expect,
the
different
buildings.
Units and different weapons will be more or less effective against the building. So we first started shooting some las guns at a building, and it doesn't do much.
And obviously, while
I will be say I'm a little bit sad about this army.
We haven't gotten this build right.
There's
but
no
while the
artillery
UI is
here.
all,
Where's my
it's looking well. I do think
artilleries?
one of the things I'd say the strength of the card system we've got.
Where
here
my
is we have
Hydras at?
22 units. At the moment in our current Total War titles, showing 22 units squashes so much, but it feels here when I've got 40 guard out, I've got a little bit more room here to play with, which is very nice. So another question someone had, and I don't know how much we can say about it. I've not really asked anyone, but a bit
You're asking now. Oh God.
Psychers. So how would Psychers be represented if they're part of a bodyguard group? Would they have an ability?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. So it would then give the unit once you've clicked on it the appropriate ability, and then when you cast it, that Psyker is gonna within the unit pop that out there.
Yeah.
Of course, what can happen is that Psyker can also die, and then you will lose access to that ability as part of the unit.
And those unit cards, they dynamically update.
Oh,
right? So
cool. So you can take out the Psyker, but basically the commander can still be active, but you cannot use the Psyker abilities anymore.
Okay, suppression. We've spoken about suppression. You've
Cool.
So that was suppression.
Yeah. Flanking fire.
So much to talk about. Flanking fire.
Yes.
This is something we're actively
Light flanking, there we go.
working on how this works. We're not completely happy with the implementation we currently have in, but the aim here is to make sure that flanking is present with range, right? So what this is doing is if you're getting around opponents and
That's an interesting choice.
making it easier to hit them.
Yeah.
We are actually playing with the armor a little bit as well, but it feels a little bit too, frankly, it's a bit too abstract. We're not super happy, like I said, with the solution we've got at the moment. We're working through some stuff, but the aim is to make sure that we are rewarding that positional gameplay, right? So flanking fire really matters. It's definitely going to.
I love that the announcer is a space marine, by the way.
Gameplay is super important. Important part of what Total War is.
Yeah.
You know, breaking the will of your opponent is just as valid as breaking the bodies of your opponent.
And sometimes it is more effective.
Depending on the situation.
I'm really curious how they manage that.
We wanted to make sure that's rewarded. So if you're getting around your opponents, you're going to trigger flanking fire.
Oh,
and
that
you're
didn't
gonna
do
get
too
benefits
much.
of that as well.
Fantastic.
And you can see the little orange arrows showing up on the unit cards as well as the IDs. That's kind of what indicates if a unit is getting flanked or if it's getting suppressed.
Absolutely.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, there's so many little questions. A lot of these actually. I
He
think
definitely plays it a little bit less
but the point of
efficient this
is
time.
we've called this Alpha Strike, right, on range combat. We're trying to go as deep into everything as we can. That means we won't have time for every question because there are so many other things still to cover. And speaking
I
of,
have
the
a
next
lot
thing
of
we will be
questions.
talking about is cover.
But there is a beta. Remember, there's a beta.
There is a
right?
beta.
There's a
You
beta,
get
and you can do the thing.
Exactly.
I need the beta.
Okay, I think,
The beta.
Will, your watch is over, and I think we're going to be able to move on to the clips now. So thank you so much for playing
Well done,
That was
Will.
great.
3 times.
That was
And that may be the
cool.
last time,
I love
last time we
that.
see that battle. So
Don't play it.
we'll wave it goodbye. Probably not the last time we see the map. It's a very cool map. But right, cover. So we touched on it a little bit.
Yes.
We've said cover affects your evasion, right? But
We saw that,
what
yes.
we have here is a little clip of what it's like when you don't have cover and you're charging into someone who does. So both of these are shooting at each other.
Yep.
I mean, that should be a disaster, especially for the guardsmen, huh?
This is kind of like a wombo combo of what not to do when approaching an
Yeah, the
opponent.
one
A
of
single
of
unit
not doing
running
this
an opponent's
shit.
cover, so they're moving and firing, right? That's going to be reducing their accuracy. Sort of getting broken
Look
apart
at
here.
this.
They're getting suppressed.
I am so curious to see how the Elder play.
It's harder to hit. So it's all sort of sticking things together. However, and look at that guy stumbling around. However, they do have some quite good weapons to counter cover, like flamers, which we really don't mind.
Still good enough. It was multiple teams, I think.
But yeah,
was it just
that
one?
Was an
I think it was
extreme
just one.
situation
Just
of,
one.
you run at that, you're gonna end up in pain.
And is all cover identical?
No, so we have a couple of types of cover. We're going to have a lighter cover that'll be reserved for sort of your more natural, like shrub-like stuff, trees, etc. And then we have standard cover, and that's this here. So yeah, moving into that, we did also discuss.
Look at that. There is nothing happening right now with the. You cannot see that because my stupid face is in the way. But you can see there that nothing happened till the flamethrowers now came into position.
Absolutely, it doesn't gain all of the benefits.
And you can just see that here.
It still gives you that incidental effect of the projectile. Again,
look at that! Wow!
Actually hit that cover piece, and they then make a check as to whether they should be able to penetrate it, right? Like, because some things can go straight through. They can damage it, they can destroy it, or they can go straight through it, right? So, so that makes a difference. This is very upsetting.
Pretty insane unit.
This is a pretty balmy unit. So the specialists within this unit, they are carrying a bunch of flamers, right? And they've gotten close enough to be able to bring them to bear. We're fighting against an opponent who actually isn't very well teed up to deal with a light unit as well. They're much more,
very
tuned.
but
they are still very effective.
Why this works, why it's cool, is because they're firing infrequently, right? And the things that they're firing are like not maybe even like the most, sometimes not the most accurate things, right? So basically, like they're firing slowly, and it matters when they miss. So they're better at firing at big targets that are easier to hit. So when they're firing at lots of little things, that slow rate of fire really does start to hurt, right? So yeah.
But it was still very close for them. Like, look at that, before the flamer, this was where it turned around. But if they wouldn't have managed that, like 1 or 2 seconds more...
Because the Cassicans throw some grenades in and they kill half the flamers.
Really?
And then they struggle to come back from losing that many of their flamers,
yeah.
Awesome.
I think it's worth mentioning, like, these examples of guardsmen running in the open against things.
Yeah.
It's generally a really bad idea.
A really bad idea, yeah.
Even when you are in cover and when you get to put your units into, like, these proper cover areas in the maps, they will break out of formation, they will occupy the space in a way that feels natural, and they will naturally break their block. If you are outside of cover, just on the ground, they will be blocked because that's kind of what defines the unit. But that in itself, it's also the disadvantage of being out of cover is your unit is blobbed up. If the enemy decides to bombard you,
probably my first playthrough will be with the Imperial Guard.
And we can see here, like, cover helps against range combat, right?
Yeah.
But if they charge
doesn't necessarily help against.
I know everyone will play the Space Marines. Don't get me wrong, I like Space Marines, but
obviously there's challenges there because you don't.
I think there are too many games with Space Marines already.
But getting into a position where you can get them close enough, using the terrain, suppressing the opponent.
I don't
using a unit
need that. I like the Guard.
Like your Storm Boys or your Assault.
I really do.
With jump packs.
The whole concept.
Help sort of give you a tool to counter
the units they have.
Blow them up. Like if you have a bombardment and you want to spend it there, then sure, you can get away with really disrupting the opponent and then sending in a wave after.
Not an old player.
Them up. So there's lots of really cool.
Never have been.
Synergy there.
Eldar, we will see.
Yeah, look at them punching. There's a neat little moment in this as well, actually. So
we haven't seen anything.
Always shooting. So firing in melee, we developed a feature to support shooting when in melee. So they are literally when the situation is right.
I mean, it makes sense. The Ogrins basically running around here with their shotguns. They have a special name. I always forget. I'm bad with names. I'm really shit with names.
That thing is horrifying, right? In the bayonet is scary enough, but it's kind of like a horrific shotgun, right? Like a chain shotgun. It's scary, and unloading that into someone's chest is going to be incredibly effective. So it really helps the units. Sort of
you could say that.
Weapons to make them powerful at close quarters and sort of
and it's not just for units that are actively engaged in a melee engagement. When a unit of a bigger unit entity count is engaged in melee, maybe the front line is fighting in melee, but the back line would just be waiting. But with this system, the back line that is idle, if they have a sight, they can pop off some shots as a ranged order instead of just waiting for their turn to melee.
They're opportunistically kind of.
Can't wait to show everyone Assault Intercessors.
Oh yeah,
I'm so.
That's freaking cool, man.
To show Assault Intercessors, we'll get there.
Oh,
we will.
It's not today. I'm sorry. I just realised that's not today.
It's not.
But we will be showing them. They're cool.
I have shown this clip before, but someone asked a question that I think Pedro you'd be able to answer of what guns are they prioritizing at any time? So it's the actual question was with weapons that have got different ranges, what will a unit prioritize during an attack order? So the flamers here, when are they knowing how to prioritize them?
Yeah, so typically the way this works is
when they're in range, right, and they have a target.
Unit will have a primary weapon, and this primary weapon tends to be their all-rounder, the weapon that they will use when they don't have any other option that is better.
And when it makes sense,
Usually we try to make this weapon the weapon that has the largest range, and this will then be, it'll be their default. It'll be what characterizes the unit, is that they will do this most times. The secondary weapons that can be swapped to, they will usually be shorter range or capped at specific enemy parameters to switch into. So the flamers, they don't care that much. They just care about being close enough. But throwing a crack grenade, for example, you will use it when you have a high AP enemy, but not necessarily if you're fighting against infantry.
Right.
But it's usually proximity. It's whether that weapon is ready to fire.
So they're
It's,
really just checking if
a
it
whole
makes
suite of controls
sense.
that the
I think that's
Warhammer
also
just
good.
go crazy with that we've built for them. So it
That's
gives us the chance
also
to build all
really
sorts of units
important.
in the future of this game.
So, but again, that right click is for the primary group basically, and then managing whether you get into range for your flamers, etc. That's about moving your unit into the position. We're gonna show the core different ranges on the
fire arc,
on the fire arcs, but
It's,
on inspection, because obviously it starts to get quite noisy.
The thing that I would like to stress though is like, there's a lot of complexity to these systems. There's a lot of
The
complexity.
one thing I don't like,
40K can
and
be,
thankfully it's a
and if you're that kind of
relatively
player,
minor
you dig
nitpick
really
because
deep
I
into
still
it
don't
and
know if it is
maximize your usage of the unit,
the end
and
product,
exact right range,
the
and
flamer.
exact right target to get the most.
The
out of
fire
all the
is
different weapons
super
you have.
noisy
But
and
if you
doesn't
don't
look
want
good.
to go that deep, then that's fine as well. The unit will always try to do the best it can do with the weapons it has, given its circumstance. So you don't have to worry about that layer of complexity if you don't want to.
Like we said earlier.
I really wonder if you
special
can have an army which is completely ineffective and does zero damage to their opponents.
But, broadly,
Like,
it all sounds
if
to
the
go well.
enemy is coming up
You've
with
got
only
guards lined up
tanks,
firing their las
and
guns
you have
down,
only
best
light
group.
units
Then I'm gonna
with zero heavy damage, I wonder if
morale in
that...
the game.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Is there? Do you run out of ammo?
No.
You do not.
Awesome.
You're answering them quicker than I can read the next one.
Should we elaborate a little bit? We should probably elaborate a
Our
little
grenade
bit.
thing, yes, we'll be showing that.
Yeah.
Is the there
It
was
makes
someone asking
sense.
about units that move and shoot in Warhammer 3? They struggle to shoot and move, but I think we've spoken about that earlier.
We've
It's
made
not
a lot of
very
We've done a
different.
lot of
Yeah, yeah.
improvements.
Yeah,
to
it definitely sounds like
detach
it.
the movement from the shooting, so that they can do both independently, and they can shoot and be responsive and start shooting immediately as when you want it. But come to the closed beta, play the game for the hundreds of hours you can. Give us feedback on that.
Can you customize a unit's appearance?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Is splash damage from exploding vehicles a thing?
Splash damage from exploding vehicles is a thing. Yeah, we can blow up vehicles. Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, there's
Not just vehicles.
It didn't happen. It not just some people will explode depending on the kit that they have. Or
People will also
the
explode.
plasma. So that it didn't happen in the playthrough there, unfortunately. But we have
this.
this system
More.
that we're calling sort of systemic or chaotic deaths. So if you kill,
That's a lot of
battle
grenade
there's a
throwers
chance that
here.
you'll sort of veer off. And you've seen it
Ooh,
with
but
the,
they have
the
more.
Stormboys, right, where they're coiling off and exploding. There's a chance that vehicles will also get up to that mischief too, right? So they might veer off and crash into something and explode, all through a number of different chances and what hit it, etc. And we're using that in a number of really interesting ways. I'd love to get into detail with that in another one. Maybe,
that'd be cool.
So,
A kind of question, maybe request, was if guardsmen aren't in combat for 30 seconds, would they then take the time to reload?
They will, but it's something that we're still kind of fiddling with, basically.
Oh, interesting.
How do trees work in terms of blocking projectiles?
You're going to shoot them.
They will
and then
block
get
them.
hit, and then they're going to fall down or
eventually
explode.
get You're gonna
shoot the tree. What's the question?
Okay. I think that's all the questions I can rapid fire. Other ones I've seen that have been asked, we have actually answered earlier. So here we're talking about height. Right? So height differences in colour.
I like how you moved your hand.
And they can't see me. So
Height.
Remember, this is height. Though. Height.
Yes.
Height?
So height.
Yes,
Again,
hands.
positional gameplay really matters.
Wow, so even...
And an important part of that is out positioning.
Can I just say, they finally fixed the freaking height difference? The stupid I have the high ground, which sometimes doesn't work in Warhammer Total War.
What's happening here, again, is an improvement to the accuracy of the unit. So these guardsmen on the left have
Oh my god, we're getting an
right, so they're
accuracy
firing down at them and they're getting
buff.
a bonus to their accuracy, which is
Thank the
overcoming,
Emperor, man.
That cover bonus, right? So now it's like a
Thank
almost
the
a direct
Emperor.
counter to the cover is get above it and fire down into it.
Oh.
Alongside that, there's a simulated aspect, right? Which is that when they're firing at them, they are physically higher than them. So all those collisions, those things that would block the projectiles, the sandbags, etc., they're firing over them now, right? They're firing down into the cover. So the simulation is also sort of boosting the effectiveness.
It's amazing.
This is the most dramatic one we've had.
The grenades are putting in lead work here to sort of try and
the other ones only had flamers, I think.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They're in trouble.
But you can really see like the unit that's firing up, because this is an extreme situation. They're barely actually getting hits off now on the guard that are firing down onto them. So it's a huge advantage to be able to get up into a position that's higher and fire down into another one.
Look at that.
To be in cover than not,
they both have cover, and the right one.
And this
the greens just
I could create, but really it is the grenade launchers that do a ton of work there, because we're talking about
really get any damage.
Individual projectiles, right? Billion of them on screen.
Whoa. You heard it here first.
Watch this for hours.
So you can see them all fire. It's all being tracked, and that is, they do need to be able to find a path to their target, right? So they're not going to clip through the bottom of that ramp.
No.
And then 90 degrees up and go and hit the guy.
No.
That's crazy.
I've had some fun bugs where people shoot the cover in front of them and sometimes blow themselves up. There have been some.
I think there's
sounds like the guard.
In this clip where
if somebody's asking me.
Yeah. And
it can happen.
Where it makes sense, we have rules and controls, and we'll put in rules and controls to make it feel smooth and feel good. But our attitude towards developing a lot of this stuff is we start by going to the simulation and trying to get it to simulate, and then sort of bringing in the abstractions that are appropriate to make it feel and play nice, right? So we try and make sure we are doing justice to the simulation.
Yes.
Man, that sounds crazy good. It sounds like 10,000 times better than what they ever did in Total War Warhammer.
Let's do changing grenades.
Yeah. Caveat.
We toned this down.
We toned this down quite a bit.
So they only throw one.
Yeah, so you can see there was a frag grenade throw there on the top. We're going to now target the Baneblade. Good luck. But a crack grenade goes off. Pop. So yeah, massively toned down. Yeah. But that is how it works.
Pew pew, the Baneblade. And the Baneblade is like, somebody knocking?
Absolutely gutted.
Yes.
But again, it's more just demonstrating that.
And this is a good time also to talk about
get the cracks out.
We'll talk about formations after, because I think you also want to say something about how choosing.
We need a melter bomb.
Grenades, right? Yeah. But there was a lot of discussion about formations, what they're standing in. You can see the Kassakin are standing differently to the guard.
Yep.
Oh
so
yeah.
Stand more loose and look more modern. Some, if it's appropriate,
makes them easier.
It was a really interesting discussion to go on, and one that's been internal too, a lot about just like making sure we capture the feeling of everything. And why I think it's one of the reasons I think it's so divided is because kind of like everyone's kind of right, like in some instances some things should be standing in blocks, and in some instances they should be standing loose. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of that, again, I think it's something we're really keen to work with everyone on and make sure that we are representing the units in a way that feels right. So when it comes to the case-by-case basis, we obviously have the take that we put in, but we're gonna chat through and get the beta and talk about adjusting parameters. But we definitely have more modern looking and feeling ones, and we'll have things that look.
I mean, there was one of the bigger problems with range units
oddly regimented for orcs, right?
In Warhammer.
They're kind of the
they're
the rebellious youths, right, of the orcs, and so they are actually quite
so often just standing around doing nothing, and you couldn't do anything about it. And here it seems like they will also do nothing and standing around. But that's
you'll have your right,
on you,
kind of.
Yeah,
we only have 2 clips left,
okay,
so we promised about an hour, and it's just over now. So
this one's a good one.
Yeah.
So strafing, we can now move backwards and shoot at stuff.
Yes.
Yep.
So good.
Obviously, can seem like a very small thing, but it makes such a big difference.
Oh
yeah, for sure. I think just being able to keep.
I mean, they're definitely much slower, and the orcs are gaining space.
Keep looking at that direction, move around it, move backwards, get away from it. It's so useful. It's very powerful, and it makes for some really fun, sort of lures and baits and traps. For example, you could be moving back here, but then pulling these guys into like a flank, for example.
Yeah.
So
no, they're immediately
stuff that you can do with it.
Yeah, but it's not just free, right? You have some. You have some disadvantages.
Yes.
If you're going to do
and that's actually a question.
A retreat, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone asking if accuracy is affected by strafing, running, suppression.
For sure. So kind of as we spoke about earlier, different units were better or worse at doing this. Most stuff especially your run-of-the-mill infantry, is not amazing at moving and shooting and moving backwards and whatnot. They can pull it off. It avoids you having to like show your back, which can be really helpful. If there's an opponent close, you know, spraying bullets at them is definitely better than not.
Yeah.
But there are some units that can be extremely proficient in it.
Yes.
So, for example, Space Marines, they are very, very good at moving, shooting, moving back.
Oh my god,
sideways,
that would be crazy. So that could be one of the things which really excels a good or bad Space Marine player, right? By the one who really learns how to strafe and to move backwards while shooting and using that, because the Space Marines are coming with their own cover, so to speak.
So tanks reverse, obviously. You know, they've got tracks, they can't slide sideways. So where it makes
Like,
sense,
and then the Space Marine player who doesn't do that will be kind of shit.
But yeah, won't get
Up,
into
down.
Yeah, everywhere.
It would be really interesting.
But something's going to need reverse, right? And that's part of the play of them, right? So tanks, they need to turn to the direction that they're facing, obviously, before they start moving in. But if you've got a hover tank like a repulsor or something like that, then it can move sideways.
Sideways is pretty good too.
Wow,
That can
sideways.
some pretty annoying tanks when it comes to things like Eldari.
Well,
So
fluff
that's
me
really fun.
sideways.
Yeah.
I mean, all these debuffs when you're strafing had to go in the game, because when we first introduced this and we started playing, every battle was resolved by who could get up to the enemy and then walk backwards.
Yeah, I'm glad that they are mentioning that.
How much were the
I kind of had that in my back of my head and be like, whoa.
There's blood in all of these clips, and this is the game.
Yeah. You want those limbs popping off?
Yes.
They're going to pop off.
And you will end up, if someone manages to survive quite
I have played quite a few Total War games, so whoa. But it seems like they have that covered.
Because some people have already noticed it. I recorded these clips over like a couple of different days, and every time I'd boot in and I'd grab one, I'd quit. The way it works is there's different like lightings and skyboxes that can load in. So that is why the lighting looks slightly different in all of them.
Also, then that's a a different biome.
Yes,
work in
we
progress,
loaded,
but
it's the same map, but we put it in
in a
Arid.
different biome. So
Also, there's a little detail here.
Another one more.
The demo we were playing before, I mentioned that the Fog of War shader wasn't present, but it is present in these clips.
Oh, yeah.
sneaky stuff.
See,
We'll let you all pour over this, and you'll find all sorts of stuff.
This was the same map with Arid, because that's something I think me and you spoke about on the show and tell, of the maps having different environments. So now people will be able to see exactly how drastic that change will be.
Yeah, it can be really striking in terms of the visual.
Okay, and I had to say that because the tank, the Baneblade, looks very different, because I got literally like the two most extreme kinds of lighting I can get on a map for the two different shots with the Baneblade in.
And a lot of, again, that little... It's in progress, right?
Okay, this is my favorite clip, and it's the one we'll be talking about last. Sweeping Fire.
Indeed.
Oh.
Oh, no.
So when things shoot a lot, it would be bad if they had just shot in front. So now things can also sweep their fire across an enemy unit.
Yeah.
So if you're firing at the enemy unit,
Yeah, that's
Baneblade has all
far
these
more
stats and all this
effective than
firepower.
Warhammer Total
They
War.
will sweep through the enemy unit to get as many of them as they
Holy
can. And they're
moly.
gone.
And it's gone.
Magic trick.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out that is a unit that is that's an Orc Boy unit.
Yeah.
It's not a particularly late game.
Oh yeah, that's tier 1, probably the first unit you get.
This is one of the most precious, most expensive, most powerful units you're going to get in the game. In a very good situation to be firing at that. I kind of feel silly talking about the pacing earlier. About some things will happen fast.
Yes.
So yeah, there's
I mean, it's a tier 1 unit basically fighting against a tier 5 unit, elite.
Like throw out as many bolts as you can imagine. It's awesome.
Yeah, do that in Total War Warhammer and you will have
40 of them,
similar
maybe
effects,
$1
like throwing some Spearman against a Bloodthirster.
Yeah, exactly.
See what happens.
Again, as part of the specializations,
Right.
the sponsons and what you have attached to your tanks make a difference. So obviously this has been spec'd out in a way where it's got the las cannons, it's got the bolters, but you can change the main battle cannon on the tank, and that can massively change the overall function of the tank itself.
Man,
These turrets
that would
also
be
come out
crazy.
to
Can you think about that?
Yeah.
But they actually have a feature, it sounds like it, that they will have a feature where you can choose, like, at least some of the weapons
Those bolters are going to be focused on busting up the chaff.
you put
That's
on your
there is a
vehicles
unit
and
that
your
is worth
units, and you
firing
can
at.
swap that
I'd
out.
like to pick at that. But if you do right click on something,
Especially with Space Marines, it makes sense, because
towards the thing you told it to.
And one thing to point out,
a lot of Space Marines are very versatile with the weapons they utilize, and they're pretty much the same unit.
Yeah.
Shooting through itself. So you'll see some shots where it hits itself because this is kind of mid us experimenting with that.
It's a fun balance as well, because what we don't want is for like pure frustration, right? We don't want you to have to go and
in a very specific angle.
Fiddle around with your tank, like to just get all of the things firing. That doesn't mean we want this, right? Like we can control sort of the angles and the tolerances and how far things go. So it is I don't think this is quite what we want, but it's a fine tune of just adjusting like
just by the last orc boy. It's like, oh, we missed one.
Frustrating.
Okay.
Yes.
You want it to be able to fire, and it really does. It gets your heart down when things don't shoot. I love.
No, leave it on.
Kind of hitting them at the beginning. It's so
great.
Those poor boys.
I'll ask you one other question, and I don't know the answer, so we'll find out together. Can a bullet ricochet and hit someone else?
So we're not doing ricochets at the moment. No. So yeah, that isn't something that we've got.
On the tank when it was being shot, I think they could see a lot.
So there are visual ricochets.
Yes.
But at the point of the bullet ricochets, it will no longer be able to collide.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing.
No, but a neat thing about that, actually, is a cool thing to point at, is that what that's representing is the damage that's being done, right?
It will be very chaotic at some point, because there is a lot, technically, which can ricochet.
But what we're saying is like that thing hit and it didn't really bite in.
Right. Yeah. Right? It's a visual indication of the damage you're doing.
Right.
And how effective it is being.
Yeah. So
okay.
if you get like a really chunky,
I like that.
What we want is to be able to say at a distance or at a good space, you can see something hitting something, go, that looks like it hurts, because it does. Yeah. Right. And so we're trying to sort of get that to sit nicely.
Getting shot hurts. You heard it here first.
We fit as much as we can in that 1 hour with one battle and a few clips to show. Yeah. But that is the last thing. I've seen it, and so many times I've gone, I'll just make sure we mention that. Optimization. Yes. So this build wasn't the most optimized build.
It runs smoothly.
Of the hardware. Optimization is ongoing at all times, right? But something that mainly comes more towards the end.
Yeah. Indeed. So obviously we're trying to get the game playable and show it off and show you the real game, not a dressed up version of it.
Yes.
So the game's not ready to ship. So it's not fully optimized. We're gonna run into some issues. We're gonna run into
I think it looked pretty well, and believe me, I have seen some Total War games.
Working really hard on it. I'm really proud of everyone. I think we're doing a great job getting to where we need to be.
Like Total Warhammer is a fantastic example, right? I still remember at the beginning was kind of ass. It was. I know there were some people who were like, it's completely fine. It's just your hardware, mate. Your hardware is shit. It's like, right.
Sign up to the beta. Give us your feedback on it.
Right. And then like 2 years later, when they have optimized it, it was like, wow. And now it runs smoothly, and I haven't changed a single bit of my hardware. I wonder what happened there. And again, my hardware, especially when Warhammer 3 came out, was top tier.
Whatever
still good.
Let us know. We'll think about doing some more of these if people.
Yeah, but this was awesome.
But otherwise, this was shooting. This was our first battle shown live.
I hope we will see the same thing with melee and some other stuff, because this was actually really informative in an hour and a lot of gameplay.
A more casual stream next week as we wind down from the prep for all of this. But you'll see more soon. See you at Gamescom, those of you who go there. Otherwise, we'll catch you next stream. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Awesome. No, this was absolutely awesome. Like, I don't even have much to say here, because we basically covered everything which there was because I was talking over them the whole time. Yay. I will probably do a condensed version of it as a video tomorrow. But it's a complete rework, and I appreciate that. Like, again, I said this a few months ago in my video, right, where I said I hope they will do this, and I would love that. And it seems like they have really done that, and they had to. Like, when you were going back to Total War Warhammer, right, and you were looking at Total War Warhammer, it does its thing. Does it work? Yes, it does. Because it's a medieval fantasy game with quite a bit of range combat, and I would say it sometimes strains the acceptable level of when it comes to range combat and what they are doing with the engine there, right? But for this game, if they would have just copied the Total War Warhammer stuff when it comes to range combat, and they would have been like, yeah, we just did that, that would have been a disaster. That wouldn't have been enough. That would have, like, no. I would have sat there insane, and I want this game to fail. Again, fine for what it did in Warhammer, but for a game which will probably be 70% range combat, like, let's not forget, Warhammer 40k has melee combat, especially with the orcs. The Elder will probably also have like a big bunch, and even the Space Marine do a nice mix. Imperial Guard not so much, but the more we are getting more factions, of course, there will be some more melee-focused ones. And then some which are not. Imperial Guard, the Tau Empire, like definitely not the melee specialists. They have some, but that's mostly range, right? And even like Space Marines, you could argue, they have some of their melee units, yes, but very ranged focused. Very ranged focused. So they needed to come up with something new. And they did. They did. And one of the main things, and this is the last thing I was saying, then we are wrapping it up here. This also, what they mentioned, put me at peace with the Elder. That your melee and range is now disconnected from each other. You can do both. You can even use your range weapons in melee combat. That was one of the main issues in Warhammer, right? Hybrid units. Let's be honest here, they were kind of ass because they didn't have that ability. And hey, also, did the AI just still react to the special ability he was using? Did he know that it was coming? That's a different topic for another time. But no, going back to that, like Elder, I was kind of afraid when, of course, we have to see that in action, right? We haven't seen the Elder yet, not even a glimpse. But I want to kind of see how that disconnect of melee and range will work, because for the Elder, I can see how important it is. It's already quite important for the orcs, but I think they still would have gotten away with that, with the orcs, to just say when we don't have that disconnect, it would still kind of work for them. But Elder, especially when they're zip-zapping and moving around on the battlefield, we have to see. That looks so awesome. But anyways, folks, I will wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like. And also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Total War and Warhammer 40k, of course, which we are doing here on the channel. But we are focusing very much on strategy games, management and building games. So if that is your jam, you came to the right place. And make sure to check out the videos, the live streams, which are also happening quite frequently. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. See you next time.